The judges of empire, legal innovation and social control. The Supreme Tribunal, in the obsidian-walled chambers beneath Tenochtitlan's great temple where carved stone pillars supported vaulted ceilings decorated with intricate juridical symbols and the scent of copal incense mixed with the subtle tension of legal deliberation, the most sophisticated judicial system in pre-Columbian America reached its decisions through careful application of precedent, testimony, and evidence. For within these hallowed halls, the Tlaxcaltecal Nezahualcoyotl had created a revolutionary framework of constitutional law that unified diverse ethnic populations under consistent imperial justice, while demonstrating that authentic political authority required not merely military might, but systematic legal innovation that could transform conquered territories into willing participants in imperial civilization. The Chief Justice Nezahualcoyotl, whose family had served the imperial legal system for 4 generations, possessed an encyclopedic understanding of precedential law and constitutional interpretation that enabled him to navigate complex cases involving territorial disputes, commercial contracts, marriage law, inheritance rights, and criminal justice while coordinating with provincial legal administrators to ensure consistent application of imperial legal standards across territories populated by dozens of different ethnic groups speaking multiple languages and following traditional customs that often conflicted with imperial requirements. The legal codes that governed imperial administration had been systematically developed through decades of careful jurisprudential innovation as imperial lawmakers studied the customs and legal traditions of conquered territories while creating unified frameworks that preserved beneficial local practices within comprehensive imperial legal structures that provided consistent justice and predictable outcomes regardless of geographical location or ethnic background, while ensuring that legal decisions supported rather than undermined imperial authority and territorial integration. The constitutional framework that structured imperial governance included sophisticated separation of powers between executive, judicial, and administrative functions while establishing clear procedures for legal appeals, evidence evaluation, and precedential interpretation that prevented arbitrary decision-making and ensured that imperial justice operated according to established principles rather than personal preference or political expedience, creating legal stability that enhanced rather than threatened imperial authority through consistent and fair application. The territorial legal integration that unified diverse populations under imperial law included systematic training programs for provincial judges combined with regular consultation procedures and appeals processes that ensured local legal decisions aligned with imperial legal standards while preserving sufficient flexibility to accommodate regional customs and cultural practices that did not conflict with fundamental imperial legal principles and constitutional requirements. The commercial law innovations that facilitated empire-wide economic integration included standardized contract procedures, dispute resolution mechanisms, and enforcement systems that enabled merchants and craftsmen to conduct business across territorial boundaries with confidence that legal agreements would be honored and commercial disputes would be resolved fairly according to established legal principles rather than local political influence or ethnic favoritism. The marriage and family law systematization that provided legal stability for domestic relationships included clear procedures for marriage contracts, divorce proceedings, inheritance rights, and child custody arrangements that applied consistently across all imperial territories while accommodating diverse cultural traditions regarding family organization and property relationships through flexible interpretation of fundamental legal principles. The criminal justice procedures that maintained social order and deterred illegal behavior included sophisticated investigative techniques, evidence evaluation standards, and punishment guidelines that ensured criminal cases were resolved according to factual evidence and legal precedent rather than social status or political connections, while providing appropriate penalties that served both justice and social stability. The property law frameworks that regulated ownership rights and territorial administration included clear procedures for land grants, ownership transfers, boundary disputes, and resource utilization that enabled economic development while preventing conflicts over territorial rights and ensuring that property ownership supported rather than threatened imperial stability and and administrative effectiveness. The administrative law structures that governed imperial bureaucratic functions included personnel procedures, accountability mechanisms, and performance standards that ensured government officials operated according to legal requirements rather than personal discretion, while providing career advancement opportunities based on merit and performance rather than favoritism or political influence. The international law innovations that regulated relationships between imperial territories and foreign powers included diplomatic protocols, treaty negotiation procedures, and conflict resolution mechanisms that enabled peaceful resolution of territorial disputes and commercial disagreements while maintaining imperial authority and territorial integrity through legal, rather than exclusively military means. The legal education systems that trained judicial personnel and administrative staff included comprehensive curriculum, practical training programs, and continuing education requirements that ensured legal professionals possessed the knowledge and skills necessary to implement complex legal frameworks effectively while maintaining consistency and quality in legal decision-making across diverse territorial and cultural contexts. Provincial court networks. The systematic decentralization that extended imperial legal authority throughout conquered territories included carefully planned court networks and administrative structures that brought imperial justice to local communities while maintaining coordinated oversight and appeals procedures that ensured local legal decisions aligned with imperial constitutional principles and legal standards despite geographical distance and cultural diversity that might otherwise have created inconsistent legal interpretation and administrative confusion. The judicial appointment procedures that selected qualified legal personnel for provincial courts included merit-based selection criteria combined with comprehensive training requirements and performance evaluation systems that ensured provincial judges possessed the knowledge and skills necessary to implement imperial legal frameworks effectively while maintaining independence and objectivity in legal decision-making despite potential local political pressures and cultural influences. The legal standardization programs that ensured consistent application of imperial law across diverse territories included uniform procedure manuals, precedent libraries, and consultation systems that enabled provincial courts to access authoritative legal guidance and coordinate decisions with imperial legal standards while accommodating regional customs and cultural practices through flexible interpretation and implementation techniques. The appeals court hierarchies that provided systematic review of local legal decisions included multi-level appeal processes and oversight procedures that enabled correction of legal errors and ensured consistency in legal interpretation while maintaining efficiency in case processing and preventing unnecessary delays in legal resolution that might undermine public confidence in imperial justice systems. The legal communication networks that connected provincial courts with imperial legal authorities included messenger services, document transmission systems, and consultation procedures that enabled rapid communication of legal questions and precedential guidance while maintaining accurate records of legal decisions and case histories that supported consistent legal interpretation and administrative coordination across vast geographical distances. The territorial law adaptation procedures that accommodated local customs and cultural traditions within imperial legal frameworks included systematic review processes and modification protocols that enabled incorporation of beneficial local practices while ensuring compatibility with fundamental imperial legal principles and constitutional requirements that maintained legal consistency and territorial integration. The cross-border jurisdiction coordination that resolved legal conflicts involving multiple territories included inter-territorial cooperation agreements and conflict resolution procedures that enabled effective administration of cases involving parties from different regions while maintaining respect for territorial boundaries and local administrative authority within comprehensive imperial legal oversight. The legal enforcement mechanisms that ensured compliance with court decisions and imperial legal requirements included systematic investigation procedures, compliance monitoring systems, and enforcement actions that maintained respect for legal authority while providing appropriate remedies for legal violations and encouraging voluntary compliance through education and community engagement rather than relying exclusively on punitive measures. The commercial dispute resolution specialization that addressed complex economic conflicts included expert commercial courts and specialized procedures that enabled effective resolution of trade disputes, contract violations, and economic conflicts while supporting rather than hindering commercial development and territorial economic integration through predictable and fair legal outcomes that enhanced business confidence. The administrative oversight systems that monitored provincial court performance included regular inspection procedures, performance evaluation systems, and quality assurance programs that ensured provincial legal administration met imperial standards while providing support and resources for improvement and professional development that enhanced rather than threatened local legal autonomy and administrative effectiveness. The legal archive maintenance that preserved case records and precedential decisions included comprehensive documentation systems and storage procedures that enabled effective legal research and precedential consultation while maintaining historical records that supported consistent legal interpretation and provided institutional memory for complex legal questions and constitutional interpretation. The judicial training coordination that maintained professional standards among provincial legal personnel included continuing education programs, professional development opportunities, and skills assessment procedures that ensured legal professionals remained current with legal developments and maintained competency in complex legal analysis while promoting career advancement based on merit and professional achievement. Legal Innovation Laboratory, the constitutional law development that created fundamental frameworks for imperial governance, included systematic analysis of political theory, governmental structure, and citizen rights that established enduring legal principles while adapting to changing political circumstances and territorial expansion requirements that demanded flexible yet consistent constitutional interpretation and implementation across diverse geographical and cultural contexts. The procedural innovation programs that enhanced legal system efficiency and effectiveness included experimental approaches to case management, evidence evaluation, and decision-making processes that improved legal outcomes while reducing delays and administrative costs through systematic testing and refinement of legal procedures that balanced thoroughness with efficiency in legal administration. The legal precedent systematization that created comprehensive frameworks for consistent legal interpretation included case law organization, precedential hierarchy establishment, and interpretive guideline development that enabled predictable legal outcomes while providing flexibility for adaptation to novel legal questions and changing social circumstances through evolutionary rather than revolutionary legal development. The evidence evaluation innovations that enhanced accuracy and fairness in legal decision-making included systematic approaches to witness testimony, physical evidence analysis, and expert consultation that improved factual accuracy in legal proceedings while maintaining appropriate skepticism regarding potentially unreliable or biased information sources that might compromise legal decision-making quality. The alternative dispute resolution development that provided efficient alternatives to formal litigation included mediation procedures, arbitration systems, and community-based conflict resolution mechanisms that enabled effective resolution of legal disputes while reducing court caseloads and providing more flexible and culturally appropriate approaches to conflict resolution that served community welfare and individual justice. The legal technology innovations that enhanced administrative efficiency and record-keeping included document preservation techniques, information organization systems, and communication improvements that enabled more effective legal administration while maintaining accurate records and facilitating legal research that supported consistent legal interpretation and precedential consultation across complex case histories. The comparative law studies that incorporated beneficial practices from conquered territories included systematic analysis of foreign legal systems and cultural practices that enabled incorporation of effective legal innovations while maintaining imperial legal consistency and constitutional compatibility through careful evaluation and adaptation of diverse legal traditions and customary practices. The legal philosophy development that provided theoretical foundations for imperial jurisprudence included systematic examination of justice principles, governmental authority, and citizen obligations that established intellectual frameworks for legal interpretation while addressing fundamental questions about law, morality, and social organization that informed practical legal decision-making. The criminal justice innovations that enhanced public safety while maintaining individual rights included investigative procedure improvements, rehabilitation rehabilitation program development, and punishment system refinement that balanced social protection with individual fairness while addressing underlying causes of criminal behavior through comprehensive approaches to criminal justice and social welfare. The commercial law advancement that supported economic development while ensuring fair business practices included contract standardization, intellectual property protection, and consumer protection measures that enhanced business confidence while preventing fraudulent practices and ensuring equitable commercial relationships that supported rather than undermined economic prosperity and territorial integration. The family law modernization that adapted traditional practices to changing social circumstances included marriage law updates, inheritance system refinements, and child welfare protections that maintained cultural traditions while ensuring legal consistency and individual protection through systematic evaluation and modification of family law frameworks according to evolving social needs and imperial requirements. The administrative law optimization that enhanced governmental efficiency while maintaining accountability included bureaucratic procedure improvements, oversight mechanism enhancement, and public service delivery optimization that improved governmental performance while ensuring transparency and responsiveness to citizen needs through systematic administrative reform and institutional development. Multicultural legal framework. The ethnic law integration that accommodated diverse cultural traditions within unified imperial legal systems included systematic study of traditional legal practices combined with adaptation procedures that preserved beneficial cultural elements while ensuring compatibility with imperial constitutional principles and legal consistency across territories populated by different ethnic groups, maintaining distinct cultural identities and traditional legal approaches. The language accommodation programs that ensured equal access to legal services regardless of linguistic background included translation services, multilingual legal documentation, and interpreter training that enabled effective legal communication while maintaining accuracy in legal proceedings despite linguistic diversity that might otherwise have created barriers to legal participation and understanding. The cultural sensitivity protocols that respected diverse religious and social practices within imperial legal frameworks included accommodation procedures for traditional ceremonies, religious observances, and cultural customs that did not conflict with fundamental imperial legal principles while ensuring that cultural accommodation enhanced rather than undermined legal consistency and territorial integration. The customary law incorporation procedures that integrated beneficial traditional practices into imperial legal systems included systematic evaluation processes and adaptation mechanisms that enabled preservation of effective customary practices while ensuring compatibility with imperial constitutional requirements and legal consistency across diverse territorial and cultural contexts. The interethnic conflict resolution mechanisms that addressed disputes involving parties from different cultural backgrounds included specialized procedures and cultural mediation services that enabled fair resolution of cross-cultural conflicts while promoting mutual understanding and respect among diverse ethnic populations within imperial territories. The legal education adaptation that provided culturally appropriate legal training for diverse populations included curriculum modification, teaching methodology adaptation, and cultural competency development that enabled effective legal education while respecting cultural diversity and promoting professional competency among legal personnel from different ethnic backgrounds. The religious law coordination that balanced imperial legal authority with traditional religious practices included accommodation procedures for religious law applications and conflict resolution mechanisms that enabled practice of traditional religious law within imperial legal oversight while preventing conflicts between religious and imperial legal requirements. The traditional authority recognition that preserved beneficial leadership structures within imperial legal frameworks included procedures for incorporating traditional leaders into imperial legal administration while maintaining imperial legal authority and ensuring that traditional leadership supported rather than undermined imperial legal consistency and territorial integration. The community-based justice programs that utilized traditional conflict resolution approaches within imperial legal oversight included community mediation services and traditional justice incorporation that enabled culturally appropriate dispute resolution while maintaining imperial legal standards and ensuring fair outcomes regardless of cultural background. The legal pluralism management that coordinated multiple legal traditions within unified imperial governance included systematic procedures for resolving conflicts between different legal approaches while maintaining imperial legal supremacy and ensuring consistent legal outcomes despite diversity in traditional legal practices and cultural approaches to justice. The cultural legal research programs that enhanced understanding of diverse legal traditions within imperial territories included systematic study of traditional legal practices and cultural approaches to justice that enabled improved legal accommodation and integration while maintaining scholarly documentation of diverse legal traditions for institutional learning and legal development. The cross-cultural legal training that prepared imperial legal personnel to work effectively with diverse populations included cultural competency education, language training, and sensitivity development that enhanced legal service delivery while promoting mutual respect and understanding among legal personnel and community members from diverse cultural backgrounds. Social control through justice. The systematic behavioral modification that utilized legal institutions to shape social conduct included reward and punishment systems designed to encourage compliance with imperial social norms while discouraging behaviors that threaten social stability or imperial authority through consistent application of legal consequences that reinforce desired social patterns and cultural values. The legal socialization programs that educated citizens regarding imperial legal requirements and social expectations included community education initiatives, legal awareness campaigns, and civic responsibility training that promoted voluntary compliance with legal requirements while building public understanding and support for imperial legal institutions and social policies. The conflict prevention strategies that addressed social tensions before they escalated into serious legal problems included community mediation services, social intervention programs, and early warning systems that identified and addressed potential sources of social conflict while promoting constructive resolution of disputes and community harmony. The social mobility regulation that managed advancement opportunities within imperial social hierarchies included merit-based promotion systems, educational requirements, and performance standards that enabled individual advancement while maintaining social stability and ensuring that social mobility supported rather than threatened imperial authority and territorial integration. The community responsibility enforcement that encouraged collective accountability for social welfare and legal compliance included group responsibility systems, community service requirements, and collective recognition programs that promoted community self-regulation while reducing administrative burden on imperial legal institutions. The rehabilitation and reintegration programs that addressed criminal behavior through education and social support included counseling services, skills training programs, and community support systems that addressed underlying causes of criminal behavior while promoting successful reintegration of offenders into productive community roles. The social monitoring systems that identified and addressed emerging social problems included community surveillance networks, social indicator tracking, and intervention protocols that enabled proactive response to social challenges while maintaining community privacy and individual rights within appropriate legal oversight and social welfare programming. The cultural norm enforcement that promoted imperial social values while accommodating cultural diversity included education programs, social recognition systems, and community leadership development that encouraged adoption of imperial social standards while respecting cultural traditions that supported rather than threatened social stability. The Economic Justice Administration that ensured fair distribution of economic opportunities and protection from economic exploitation included commercial regulation, consumer protection, and economic development programs that promoted economic prosperity while preventing economic inequality and exploitation that might threaten social stability. The family and community stability promotion that supported healthy social relationships and community development included family counseling services, community development programs, and social support systems that strengthened social bonds while addressing social problems that might otherwise escalate into serious legal or political challenges. The youth development programming that prepared young people for productive citizenship included educational opportunities, mentorship programs, and civic engagement training that promoted positive youth development while preventing juvenile delinquency and ensuring that young people developed the knowledge and skills necessary for productive participation in imperial society. The elder care and social welfare systems that provided support for vulnerable population groups included social services, healthcare provisions, and community support programs that ensured social welfare while promoting community solidarity and mutual support that enhanced social stability and community resilience. Constitutional legacy. The fundamental rights frameworks that protected citizen interests while maintaining imperial authority included systematic guarantees for personal security, property rights, and legal due process that ensured individual protection while supporting rather than threatening imperial governance through balanced approaches to individual rights and collective welfare that enhanced rather than undermined political stability. The governmental structure innovations that separated powers and prevented administrative abuse included checks and balances systems, oversight mechanisms, and accountability procedures that ensured effective governance while preventing concentration of power that might threaten individual rights or political stability through systematic institutional design and constitutional safeguards. The legal precedent establishment that created enduring foundations for future legal development included systematic case law documentation, precedential hierarchy creation, and interpretive guideline development that enabled consistent legal evolution while maintaining constitutional consistency and legal predictability across changing political circumstances and administrative leadership. The judicial independence protection that ensured fair legal decision-making despite political pressure included tenure security, compensation protection, and administrative autonomy that enabled judges to make legal decisions based on law and evidence rather than political influence while maintaining accountability through appropriate oversight and performance evaluation systems. The legal education institutionalization that ensured ongoing development of qualified legal personnel included law school establishment, curriculum standardization, and professional certification that maintained legal system quality while providing career advancement opportunities based on merit and professional competency rather than political connections or social status. The international legal influence that extended imperial legal innovations beyond territorial boundaries included diplomatic legal cooperation, treaty negotiation expertise, and legal technology transfer that enhanced imperial international relations while demonstrating the effectiveness and sophistication of imperial legal institutions to foreign powers and potential allies. The legal archive preservation that maintained institutional memory and precedential foundation included comprehensive documentation systems, historical record maintenance, and scholarly research support that ensured legal continuity while enabling ongoing legal development based on accumulated legal wisdom and institutional experience. The constitutional interpretation procedures that enabled adaptation to changing circumstances while maintaining fundamental legal principles included amendment processes, interpretive guidelines, and constitutional review mechanisms that enabled legal evolution while preserving essential constitutional foundations and legal consistency. The legal philosophy documentation that preserved intellectual foundations for imperial jurisprudence included systematic legal theory development, philosophical analysis preservation, and scholarly dialogue maintenance that ensured legal institutions remained grounded in sound theoretical foundations while enabling intellectual development and legal innovation. The institutional continuity planning that ensured legal system survival despite political changes included succession planning, institutional preservation procedures, and knowledge transfer systems that maintained legal system effectiveness while enabling adaptation to changing political circumstances and administrative requirements. The legal reform mechanisms that enabled systematic improvement of legal institutions included review procedures, modification protocols, and innovation support systems that promoted ongoing legal development while maintaining institutional stability and constitutional consistency despite changing social circumstances and administrative requirements. The democratic participation frameworks that enabled citizen involvement in legal development while maintaining expert legal administration included consultation procedures, citizen advisory systems, and participatory governance mechanisms that enhanced legal system legitimacy while ensuring that legal development reflected community needs and values within constitutional principles and legal expertise. Through the patient development of comprehensive legal frameworks and systematic judicial administration that transformed conquered territories into willing participants in imperial civilization, the judges of empire demonstrated that authentic political authority required not merely military conquest but legal innovation that could unify diverse populations under consistent justice while providing individual protection and community welfare through sophisticated legal institutions. The constitutional legacy that emerged from imperial legal innovation thus revealed for future generations that lasting political authority required systematic legal development and consistent judicial administration, while demonstrating that legal institutions could serve both individual rights and collective welfare through balanced approaches to justice that enhanced rather than threatened political stability and territorial integration. In the end, the judges of empire proved that authentic imperial greatness required not merely the ability to conquer territories through force, but the wisdom to transform conquered populations into willing citizens through legal justice and constitutional protection that served both imperial authority and individual welfare through sophisticated legal frameworks that endured beyond military campaigns and political upheavals.